What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling excited just to have a second, just a whole hour to talk to you, man, about this whole creative process, man, about just big things that I'm excited, man, and I'm really just glad I did this with you, man. Like I really am, and I feel, you know, just really excited, man. So, definitely, it's really crazy, man. Like just how things work because I've been following you for a year
Right.
and I was following you in the middle of my addiction too. And
Mm.
everything you always said resonated with me. And then when I came out of rehab, it was like it was the perfect timing for me to just pick up some knowledge and information. And when I read your book, I was like, holy shit, man. Like that shit that James Baldwin said about, you think you're the only one who's been through something, and then you read that's so true, man, because like a lot of what you said was so true, man. Like I was in a situation like what happened in when you was talking about your neighbor and stuff like that. Something like that happened to me. Um I was, dealing with just close calls after I got out of school and started working, like, when you were talking about your DUI and just a lot of different things, man, like that
Yeah.
resonated with me in the book that I usually don't bring up because it's like multiple people in the group setting and stuff like that. But it's just great to just be with you, man, like in this type of setting, man. Because honestly, I never thought that I would, have such access to you like this, like because I've always kind of me and my sponsor were talking about it today, and it's like I have I guess you could call it imposter syndrome, but like feeling like you're not good enough to be with people that are in the same type of like space as you, like who are also, been to a black college, who are also in a fraternity. Like I've always suffered that from that. So I, hung around with people doing drugs. I hung around with people I knew I wasn't really supposed to be around with. So it's just good to have you, like I feel like as a mentor and somebody that's given me a lot of great advice during this whole process. And I'm
I love
excited
it.
to tell you about my school too.
I love it. Yo, give me 1 second. You can probably hear my coffee's trying to bubble off the
Nah,
pot.
I don't even hear it.
Just to respond to everything you just said. Like, first of all, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you perfectly, man.
You can hear me. Okay. Um, it's crazy. Like a few things. One is like I just I think it's insane how much putting yourself out there in this whole industry, like it's insane how fast you will start running into people that you thought were a million miles away. And that's been my experience. Like I certainly, sitting down to I've certainly like dreamed of being connected to or working with a bunch of people that I grew up following or whatever, but I didn't actually know that that was going to happen and how fast it happens when you really start like doing the work and putting your work out there. I think that's the part that people like overlook is just it does very little to just make something and not do your best as a steward of it to give it to the world. And what I'm seeing from you, what I feel inspired from by you, and honestly, like you're now somebody who is this is no gas. Like I just thought about this in the gym. You're somebody who I'm now looking at and I'm like, if Lawrence is moving that fast, I gotta move that fast. Like if Lawrence is every time I'm on, I see some Lawrence put something out. He's on YouTube. He's over here, he's over here. And that kind of energy, like I love that. It makes me feel like, you can feel like you're running a race or something. Not even a race, just like you're just running in this thing. And sometimes you look over to both sides of you and nobody else is running with you. It's very inspiring to
Mhm.
look over and see somebody else running in the same direction at their own speed with their own, you know what I'm saying, with their own magic. So I'm grateful for what you're bringing to this process. Like you're probably the person who is committing the most to this process and it's showing. So I'm curious to ask you, and then let's jump in right into whatever you want to talk about. I'm curious to ask you like what you already sort of said it to me in text, and now I just want to see you say it like to my face, sort of. And you don't have to say the same thing you said in
Mhm.
text, but I'm like, I want to know what are you getting out of this that's giving you so much fuel that I see you pushing out there.
Inspiration, encouragement. I'm seeing I've seen like you doing the work, and it's motivated me to do like, yo, like I've never been, and I think I told you this, I've never been somebody to fight progress. So it's like I just feel like I needed a coach. I feel like I needed somebody to really like be like, okay, this is the way, this is how you do it. Because a lot of people try to make this whole entire process esoteric and try to keep it to themselves.
Right.
And that's another thing. Like I feel like black men struggle so much because we don't want to fucking help each other. Like
Mm.
everybody wants to be the, HNIC.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be that, you know what I'm saying, top dude, you know what I'm saying? And it's like not only do I feel like you represent a lot of the values that I'm trying to embody in this part of my life, but also too it's like you're somebody that I have no problem taking advice from, because not only have you done a lot of things that I'm trying to do, but you're also just a cool guy. Like you're also just a good person. You're not just some
Appreciate
dude who's like talking all about money, just talking all about, just status symbols. Like a lot of the videos that you make delve into social issues within the black community that aren't talked about enough with enough nuance. Like, and it kind of, like for example, we have so many people who have voices, but just say just dumb shit.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
and even like Van Lathan, for example,
Mm.
great dude. And I saw him on your podcast, and that's what like inspired me to buy the book. So
Mm.
when
I was on his
I watched,
podcast.
yeah, saw you on his podcast. My bad,
Right.
him and
No,
Rachel
it's all
Nichols.
good. Yeah.
When I saw their most recent episode from like last week with TK Kirkland, I'm like, why?
Mm.
Why? Like y'all could have had so many like better, like more well spoken, like on Black Substack. There's so many freaking intelligent, like black thought provoking people who wrote right. Like there's this kid who's like 18 years old. I forget his name, but he writes like the best satire. Like he's
Mm.
freaking hilarious.
Mm.
Like and Ayo Mama that or Lil Mama, that's his name on Substack. But just like so many just interesting people that you could have had than TK Kirkland talking about, you know, child support. Like, come on,
Right.
like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
it's like when you were talking about your friends in the last reel about how they're trying to raise their sons with the same outdated, antiquated ideas of masculinity. And
Right.
so you just inspire me to just be myself. And it's helped me just basically just be myself and just not give a damn what people think. And you putting yourself out there it motivates me, and it makes me be like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the same thing. I have nothing to lose. This dude is, in the industry. He's put in work, and he's from a similar background as me, Alpha, AUC, all this type of stuff. What
Mm.
do I have to lose? I'm in a sober house. I don't got nothing to lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Good for you. That's beautiful. That's beautiful,
thank
man. I mean, I'm not gonna overtalk it, but I'm glad that I hope that you feel like it's working. And because,
hell yeah, it's definitely working. It's
tell
definitely
me,
working.
go
Like I'm
ahead.
seeing my
Yeah,
followers go up. I'm seeing my followers go up from like the content I've been doing. I have way more engagement. I'm looking at my professional dashboard. I have 54,000 views in the last 30 days. And that's just
beautiful.
thousands. And
Yes,
my like I've gone up like maybe like 120 followers since I met you. Like
that's
more
awesome.
engagement. I have like when people follow me before, they were like, "Oh, he's a DJ, cool." Like there was nothing that separated me. But now people know my story. I have people that are engaged in my content that I haven't talked to in years since my college days. When
Right.
I made that video about me being addicted to crystal meth, I had people that have been reaching out that I haven't seen since I used to live in Atlanta. Like those people are engaged with my content. Those people are sharing my stuff now. Like I'm tapped in and engaging with, more people now, recovery people on TikTok. My TikTok is jumping. Like I
Mm.
get way more views and way more, love on TikTok just because it's a different platform, but it's just working all around. And, I am, it's like started at Genesis. And now I'm like, okay, and here's a different way. Like that whole red bean donut thing that I did. I was like, I can make content out of every piece of my life.
Yeah.
Even when I'm just sitting down, like I could just take a video and just add music to it. Like you gave me so many different ideas just by like the different stuff that you talked about in our group chats, the different stuff that you talked about in our meetings of how I can basically, you know what I'm saying, just maximize all the content. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like you said, do it ugly. Like I could make a video brushing my teeth, playing music, and then put in little bubbles about my TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like all that type of stuff. And I'm like, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep, yep.
I just the possibilities are endless.
It's an adventure. It's an experiment. It's
Yeah.
you're getting people connected to the storyteller. Like, that's all of that brings me a lot of joy. I'm really just happy that like I'm just happy to see you commit yourself to it. I'm happy. You seem happy, and that makes me happy. Like, and people can tell. They can tell when you're going through the motions versus when you're really having fun. And like you seem to be having fun. So I'm happy for
Like,
you.
I'll give you an example. Like,
Yeah.
I did a video today. I had my right before our meeting. I had my roommate, this white dude. He's like 40 years old. He's recovering from
I
crystal meth
saw
too.
that. I
I
saw that.
You saw that? What's a
I
YN?
Yeah, I didn't like watch it yet. I just saw the thumbnail when I was posting. I saw it pop. I saw this white guy sitting on the bed reading something. Yeah.
He was reading part of my script, and like he
Oh,
was reading, and
beautiful.
in the part I mentioned something about a YN in the script, and then
Yeah.
he's like, "What's a YN?"
Huh.
And you know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
like like I'm just trying to just try different things and just take your advice.
Yeah,
But
man.
I wanted to tell you about the TV show, and I'm really excited to tell you
Please.
about it. I got the idea about it right after our first meeting.
Okay.
So you were talking about using my own experiences and whatever I got because it wasn't written then. And
Yep.
then I was just like, my mind was blown because I was like, I already have the TV script written, and I immediately went to you said write about what comes easiest to you, what seems fun, what you can have fun with. And then I
Mm-hmm.
went to what I've been having fun with, which is my Substack, and I thought about that article I did about, black men's depiction in pornography. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yo, it all came. What if I made a TV show about a young black man in the porn industry trying to
Yes.
make it in the industry? He's just getting his career off, but his girlfriend is transgender. And
Mm.
then, he's trying to keep that a secret so he doesn't get pigeonholed in the industry.
Right.
And so he gets as much work as possible. And then what if his best friend is this dominatrix who also lives a double life? And during the day, she's a social worker and
Mm.
she works at a rehabilitation center helping black men as recovering addicts. But during the
That's beautiful.
nighttime, she's whipping white dudes and all this with money. And
Yes.
during the daytime, she's helping men who are destitute.
Uh-oh, I lost you. Lawrence, you there?
Yeah, You hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little, it
Can you hear
came,
me?
you're coming in a little choppy.
Saying it's unstable. Shit. Am I back?
Yeah,
Hold on.
ish. You're still choppy.
Hold on. Let me go downstairs.
Yep.
Go downstairs. I might have a better connection.
Sure thing.
Okay. Can you see me better now or hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
What's up,
Yep.
bro?
What's up? Oh, not me.
Okay, we back in action.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So
Yep.
yeah, so his best friend, she's a dominatrix or whatever, and he's from New York, but he has to fly out for these gigs, and he's just getting his career, so that's why he's flying out and everything. But when he comes back, he's has to deal with his cousin who's depressed. He works at a retail store with a crazy boss. He just got broken up with his girlfriend, and he looks up to his cousin who's a porn star, but he doesn't know about his double life. And meanwhile, his best friend is like the bridge between them because she's both of their friends. So she's trying to be like, you don't know what's going on with him. He's depressed, da 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 da. And so it's about him trying to juggle his friendships, his family, and being in the adult film industry and trying to make it while also being true to himself since he's dating a transgender girl. He's also bisexual. So there's certain parts of him he can't reveal because that's going to blackball him in the industry and put him in one space.
Mm.
And, my whole thing is I'm basing it off of my time working in corporate America. I did have a mentor. He was this white dude who was like really like okay, don't mention this on your LinkedIn. Don't mention that. Don't mention this. And I felt like, it's a part of the reason why I didn't feel comfortable revealing certain parts of my life on social media because I was always like self-aware or self-conscious. And then
Right.
it also represents my time doing, getting high, doing crystal meth and stuff like that. But it also represents different parts of me. My rehab experience. I write characters about them. I put vignettes in it about them. I put vignettes about the character Chanel, the dominatrix by night, who's the social worker counselor by day. She's
Hmm.
inspired by several women that I know who have multiple jobs in New York City who are trying to make it. And, my one friend Chanel, who actually is a dominatrix and she's a teacher. So it's just it's something that I'm really excited about. I'll love to send you, email it to you so you can check it out for yourself if that's something that you're interested in.
How long
But
is it?
it's a little long. It's 46 pages.
So are you considering it a drama or a comedy? I'm gonna
It's
ask you the questions that I'm gonna ask you the questions that are coming down the pike so we can get you ready to so we can get you ready to get this where it needs to go. So
it's I would say it's like an insecure type because it's funny, but it's also dramatic too. It also has elements of drama. It's like a insecure, rhymy, you know, type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
a little bit more queer, a little bit more, kinky. It has them elements in it too. It's gonna be some nudity in it. It's gonna be some black behinds in it. You know what I'm saying?
Is
It's gonna be that element.
for sure. Is it for um so it's gonna so with that said, it will be like on a premium network or a streaming network. Like it has to go somewhere that can show that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm feeling like Stars, my sponsor. He's been in the industry. He played in Chasing Amy. I don't know if you remember Hooper X, that character.
I remember I didn't see the movie, but I know the movie. Yeah.
But he played in that movie, but he was talking about another streaming service like it's called um it's like Twitch or something like that, but it's like also LGBTQ focused. But for the bigger ones, I'm thinking like a Stars, you know?
All right, I'm gonna give you some of the answers on the test.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna give you the answers on the test that are like I'm gonna give you the annoying Hollywood shit that they're gonna want. They're gonna want like they want you to fit into a certain shelf on they want you to fit on a certain shelf. They want your
Hmm.
show to fit on a certain shelf. They want it to be like, is it a drama or a comedy? And they want you to have a specific answer to that question. Is it 60 minutes or 30? Generally a drama is 60, generally a comedy is 30. They want a specific answer to that question. And again, I'm just going to warn you of the stuff coming down the pike.
Hmm.
When you tell people it's a dramedy off top, they're going to start today in today's market. They're going to start being like, "Ooh, we don't really know what to do with those. Are people buying those right now? We don't really know. We don't really know."
Hmm.
Doesn't mean you can't get it done because people have got it done before. It just means these are the things that people are going to try to use to give you a no. They're going to try to give you a no no matter how they possibly can. They're going to try to discount this project no matter how they possibly can. Um, at 46 pages, I would say you are right between because it's not going to have commercials because it's not for like a ABC or CBS like a cable network.
Hmm.
You're right between a comedy and a drama. I would say if you can get that page count up to like 50, even just
Hmm.
by doing formatting changes,
Hmm.
you can now say respectably, this is a drama, you know? And I'm guessing, and this is the thing, because in today's comedy market, this is what the agents are saying. They either want it to be a hard comedy, like ha 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 throughout the whole thing,
Hmm.
or they want it to be a drama. So what I'm guessing for you is even sight unseen. I bet it's not ha 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 the whole way through because it sounds too
Hmm.
real.
Hmm.
So if I were you, would call it a drama that has humor in it because it is these subject matters are serious, And you can't just have somebody locked into serious shit for a whole hour. Like you gotta give them humor, you gotta give them love. These are normal people. They just have, unusual things about them like we all do, like that kind of thing. Um,
Mm,
the fact that it's connected to your lived experience, in my opinion, without having read the thing yet, that's gold. Like you
mm,
live currently in the sober house. That already is going to set you apart from 99% of storytellers in a good way. It's like this person actually lives it, while a lot of writers are just voyeurs. It's like the person who
mm,
wrote Orange is the New Black. I think she actually went to prison, so she could actually speak to that. People want to. The question they're going to ask is why you? Why now? Why are you the storyteller? That's where you're going to blow people away because you're like, this is my lived journey. This is real. Um,
mm.
I'm just going to
I'm just
ask.
typing away everything you're saying. Yeah.
I'm just going to ask it outright. Did you write it with the help of artificial intelligence in any way?
No,
Good for you. Good for
not at
you.
all.
Good for you.
I wrote this right after, and it took me a little bit. It took like I just finished it last week, and it took me some days just because I started a job and everything like that. But I literally wrote it from the time we had that first meeting up until like last week.
Good for you. That makes me happy to hear. Okay.
Thank you, man.
So what you have so far is the screenplay itself.
Hmm.
Do you have a title?
Yes, Young, Gifted, and Black. So the name of the guy is Gifted.
Oh,
His
cool.
dad is like it's inspired by my dad is 5%er. My birth name is A Son, like old dirty bastard. So
Okay.
my mom changed my name when I was eight. Ain't that funny?
Yeah.
My my dad's favorite rapper was A Old Dirty Bastard, A Son Unique. That was his name. So my
Yeah.
dad named me A Son. So I didn't know that because I didn't know my dad growing up. So my mom said, she told me one day because the teachers would call my name and they would be like, Jason. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? She changed my name when I was 8 to Lawrence. And I met my dad when I was 17. And, he taught me about like the meaning behind my name and all that type of stuff. So I made his dad like in the future episodes is going to show his dad like a 5%. He named him Gifted, but in the industry, he goes by Devin. He goes by
Yep.
like a fake alter ego name and stuff like that. So it's named after him. It's called Young, Gifted, and Black.
Okay. First of all, it's like that is a hilarious, funny name for a show about a porn star. And at first, when you first said it, I was like, for the first instant, I was like, I don't know. And then right after that, I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like for a black porn star, I'm assuming he's well endowed. Like he's gifted and he's
Yeah,
probably gifted
exactly.
in so many other ways. But that's the only
Exactly.
way that the world can see him. So I'm
Exactly.
gonna tell you off top, like premise sounds dope. Your lived experience connected to it is great. And this is the thing about the industry. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We'll get to the writing last. The writing is the last because right now we're just your pilot is a product right now,
Hmm.
meaning you got to get somebody to even open the box right now, which means everything about the way you pitch, present, tell the story of it, it needs to be marketed in a way that other people will be like, you know what? I will read this because there's
Hmm.
thousands of people where you're trying to go sending them scripts all the time. Nobody wants to read a script. Script is long. Script, writers, we sometimes like to read a script because we like to read, but like most people don't want to read a script. Um, Here are some elements before we get to the writing that I think will help you make a package, right? Package, so to speak. Um, you got the script.
Hmm.
You might want to, you can even AI generate an image that, conceive of what you would see as the poster for this thing. You can AI generate it. You can find just something else. You don't want to use anybody's copyrighted work, but like use something, find an image that you think goes with it. That could be the cover of when you send it around, like the file it goes with it. Um, I would suggest don't do a Bible yet.
Hmm.
I wouldn't do a Bible yet because that's going to take a lot of work. I would start with maybe just a one sheeter. Top of the one sheeter. Title, you writing this down?
Mm-hmm.
Log line. The log line's gonna say something like one sentence, two sentences. I would say one sentence is your best bet. Something like a black male porn star grapples with dot dot dot. Whatever, you come up with that, you punch in like because every time you meet somebody, you want to be able to say, "This is my show. It's a black male
Mm-hmm.
porn star does blah blah blah." That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then once you have that really like, once you feel so comfortable and punchy with your log line, every time you tell someone that log line, they're gonna be like, "What?" They're gonna be like, "Yo, what? Tell me more about that." It's you're gonna have them. You're gonna have them hooked. Now you keep them
Mm-hmm.
hooked on that one sheeter by do a paragraph about what the show is. One paragraph. Don't overwrite it. No more than, I'm going to give you no more than 8 sentences. I would go as few as you can, five if you can, because all the little details that underpin that shit matters later. It matters once someone is already like invested. But just give them some conflict and some like the main conflict should be in that first sentence. And then you go and you go and you go and you this, boom. That's what the show is. Characters at the bottom of the page. This guy, this woman, this guy, this woman, this, this non-binary, whatever it is, and then you write something that says like, season one, put one sentence about what the arc of season one is. Season two, one sentence about the arc of season two. Season three, give them like 5 seasons. Give them 5 seasons just so that they know this is not like a flash in the pan. Like you need to show them that this show can have a life and a motor that's gonna like rev, like you know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
they want longevity. Again,
Yeah.
I'm telling you this because it's the truth. And then I'm gonna say, but fuck the truth. The truth is 99 out of 100 pitches end up not becoming TV shows. Probably even more than that, right? But fuck that, because somebody's gonna get a show made. It should be you. It might as well be you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's gonna be your one sheeter. People will ask the question, who do you want to cast as the main character, as the secondary lead, as, you know, have a sense, have an idea of the top 4 or 5 people who you would want to cast in this show. You can put that on the one sheeter, or you can just have it in mind, but it might come up. These are the pieces that you want to have it in your head so well concepted that, for instance, next time you describe the show to somebody, the same way you probably feel when you cut on that camera and you're like, I have a minute. You want your description of the show to be so tight and tidy and so like to the point. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is. Once you start getting into the backstories of each character and all that stuff, people can't retain that much information. People can retain about half a minute of information about your show because now they got to go tell somebody else about it. So you want to make sure it's easy for them to store it and pass it on to the next person. I've said a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Let's dig in somewhere. Is there like where do you want to dig in on all that, if anywhere?
No, no, I want to dig into like everything you said. So, like the one sheeter, because this is all amazing information. I'm about to just go back to my room because kitchen and everything like that.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, let me know if it messes up. But
You want to just wait till you're stationary?
yeah, yeah, I'll
Just
just
give
wait
it,
till I
yeah,
was.
take your time. Take your time.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Thank you, man. Okay, am I good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good now. Yep.
Okay, cool. So I was just saying, like, when it comes to the one sheeter, so that's gonna be the front page before the actual script.
You want to have them both in hand. There are some
Mhm.
people,
Yeah.
this is what you're basically trying to solve for.
Hmm.
At all these studios, networks, there is like one
Hmm.
person who ultimately can decide, are we greenlighting this? Or in some cases, maybe a small committee of people, but like generally, like there is there's a small group of people who are endowed with the power to put a large investment behind your show. So you want documentation that is going to be easy for each person along the way to get that to that person. Now, some of the people who might have to pass it along are an agent, a manager, a studio executive at the bottom, then their boss, then their boss, then their boss. So for your
Mm,
documents, some people are going to say, "Oh, send me the script." Some people are going to say, "Send me a one-sheeter." Some people are going to say, and we'll get to this, maybe the thing for you to do at some point is to make a short proof of concept video where you have one scene acted out over the course of a minute and a half that you make into a reel or maybe a 3-minute YouTube. Maybe that's the thing that gets sent around. And again, like you're going to just keep putting these pieces together as the problems to solve arise. You might get a stonewall from the first 20 people, but the 21st person might be like, that was fire. Let me pass this on to my boss. Or I think the writing needs work. Let me give
mm,
you some feedback. But like, you just want to have these pieces in order. Now, if you're compiling a PDF and you're saying, how do I order these things? I would probably put the one sheeter first and follow with the script. I'll probably put the image with the title on the front of all of that so that it looks like a tight and neat packet that says like, here's what the show is. Now here's a description of the show. Now here's the actual pilot, that kind of thing.
mm, most definitely. I'm just writing all this
Yeah, man.
down.
So,
I'm so excited. So I feel good, man, because you're just helping me realize, like, I got most of the work done. I got 90% of the work done since I had the story. It's just a matter of just polishing it, perfecting it, and everything like that. Now, how do I even get to these people? How do I even get in these rooms or get in these conversations happening? Because, I know you got very, very fortunate, you know what I'm saying? But you just were so happen to be prepared in that situation. I'm not in, that same type of environment I used to be. Like I used to be around all types of people, but that's why I'm trying to go so hard on this. And
yep.
it's working and stuff like that. But you know that's why I just wanted to talk to you about that.
All right. This is the most
Mhm.
um this is the most guerrilla warfare part of the process. Like this is the part where the gnarliest, most creative, most hungry person wins. Um,
Mm,
I'm going to tell you again really quickly. Are you still there, Lawrence?
here, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're frozen
Shit.
on the screen. Are you still there? Are you still there? Are you still
Yeah,
there? Can you try
yeah,
turn
yeah. I'm
maybe
still.
turn your
You hear me?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You
I'm just
got
gonna
shot.
stay downstairs.
Yeah.
Hold on, my man.
You could also turn your camera off if you want to.
No, that's all good, man. I'm just gonna be in the living room or whatever.
Cool.
Um, or be in the kitchen. Fine. Yeah,
Okay.
man.
All good.
I'm right here. Hmm.
So, okay. I'm gonna tell you three things. The first thing I'm gonna tell you is how
Hmm.
this played out for me the first time. I'm gonna remind you of that because I want to make sure you have that information. That is a unique experience. Everybody has their own unique experience with this, but let's play it out. So for
Hmm.
me, I wrote a TV pilot. I started pulling friends together in groups or one-off people who had no connections to the industry because I really was just trying to expose people to the project just as you already did by showing it to that person that lives in your sober house. And I was trying to see through other people's eyes. Is this something? I already had my feelings about it, but I wanted to see that light turn on in their eyes. And once I saw it turn on in a few people's eyes, then it was like, okay, I'm gonna go crazy now. Now I'm going to chase everybody down with any conversation that I have with somebody. If it comes up, I'm sharing it with them. I'm telling them about it. I told the officiant at my sister's wedding, which is ultimately how I got reconnected to Spike. I didn't line that up. I was just telling everybody about it, and he happened to have a connection to Spike. Even after I met Spike and got his number, I still didn't send him the screenplay until that person pushed me and connected the dots and was like, yo, you got to send this to Spike. Like, so what I'm saying is, once you feel good enough about the product, and you can do that by you know what will be phenomenal fucking content that could help work this is if you arranged
Hmm.
a table read for this and you filmed it with your phone in the sober house, like that would be an incredible way to publicize what you have here. To see real reactions from real people who have lived in this environment, like respond to it, that's something. What I'm telling you though is like the answer to this part of the game is creativity, blunt force, and confidence. I am telling anybody I know about this thing now because what has to happen here is the truth of the matter is most of those studios and networks, with some exceptions, they mostly take submissions from agencies. That's how they keep the pipeline tight so that they don't just have a gazillion submissions, right? It may be that you end up
Hmm.
working with a production company, which is also a way that you should be thinking about how to send this thing out. You should go look up what companies produce the shows that have a tone similar to this that I like. What companies just had a hit show and are probably looking for more shows. I will also tell you, most production companies are struggling terribly right now because of the state of the industry, which can be good or bad. It's bad because they're struggling. It could be good because maybe they just need that one hit, to like put them back on their feet with a studio, with the networks, whatever. Um, so what I'm telling you is you got to do some reverse engineering, like find production companies, go look up on LinkedIn, go look up on Instagram. Who is the assistant creative executive at this company? Or like they have all these weird titles, deputy creative executive. Sometimes you're gonna find an assistant. Sometimes you're gonna find, somebody in the mailroom, so to speak, at an agency. You just gotta like be loud and be it's like be loud and also be precise at the same time. Like take use your I hate this analogy, but I got to use it anyway. Use your bow and arrow, but also use your bazooka. Like because you're just trying to find
Mm.
one door that opens another door that opens another door that opens the door to the green light person. But don't but also try to find the green light person. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but that's because this part of the equation is
No,
not
it's
an
okay.
exact science. It's an art. And don't stop using your own megaphone. Continue, be like, go to that megaphone and say, I just finished my first TV pilot. I'm so excited to make it authentic to you. Don't make it sound stale like I'm making it sound, but I'm so excited to do the next step, which is finding the right blah to do blah, finding the right this to do that. Like, tell the story. What you're trying to do is create an environment. Like, by the time I sold my first TV pilot to BET, every black person in Hollywood had that TV pilot on their desk because this person handed it to that person. This person gave it to that person. Most of them ignored it, but a lot of them picked it up and read it and told somebody about it. Oh, there's this weird guy in New York who's trying to write this show about this thing. And then all of a sudden, Spike Lee's attached. And now everybody's like, "Oh shit, it was real." And now you're moving down. Now you're like, you got something going on. Another thing I would say to you is this. So you asked about if I will read it. Here's where I'm at right now. And I need to talk to somebody that I work about this because I have to have a playbook for this as this comes up. I do offer screenplay coverage to people for a fee if somebody wants me to read what they write because it takes a long time to give somebody notes on a screenplay and it is valuable. However, I also am interested in when people pop up and they have something that's dope within this community. Like sometimes I will want to be the shepherd of that and like be like, hey, I think this is a dope idea. Let's lock in. I'll produce and let's go see, I'll take it to my own agents and we'll see if there's something there. Now, I still have to like this is why I haven't even asked for it yet because I got to sit with myself and figure out is that something I want to take on right now for a lot of reasons. One is like the market is fucked up and I'm telling you that. The market is fucked up, okay? But so what? It's Hollywood. The market is always fucked up. Like that's Hollywood. So I just want to keep it a buck with you at every single phase of this game. So I don't want to say anything about reading it until I have that conversation with an advisor to make sure that I have a good playbook either direction. Because if I do lock in with you, like, then I owe you. You know what I mean? Like I owe you a certain level of commitment, a certain level of follow up, like a certain level of, and I don't want to commit to that until I'm ready to commit to that. So I hope that answered
I
many
completely
questions
understand,
for
and I
now.
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I completely understand that, and I appreciate you saying that because you know, you haven't uh like bullshitted me at any point, and I haven't felt like during this process like I haven't gotten anything that's helped me improve. So I know if you were to get behind it all the way, you would give it your all.
I
You know what I'm
would.
saying? So I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that, man. That means a lot.
And
Um,
I want to add to that, bro. Before you
mhm,
even told me you were writing this, when you were just
mhm.
telling me your story, I was thinking, I hope he's gonna turn this into a show because it's a show. But I didn't even want to jump out the window and say that to you because I, this is such a it's such a fight, this pursuit, that you don't want to push anybody out into it without them wanting it for themselves. But I'm so bullish on your journey, dog. Because like, if you can keep this energy for over an extended time, you're gonna win no matter what. Like, it's inevitable. That, and you're young too. I know people probably say that to you, and you're like, I'm about to be 30, blah blah blah. But like, you see how much energy I have, right? Like, you have that, and you're gonna keep having that. You're gonna have more than that. So.
Mm.
Yeah,
Nah,
man.
man, I appreciate that so much. And it's like I just appreciate, man, you just be giving me the game just to like be realistic and you be giving out a lot of free game, and that's what I appreciate about it too. Like that reel you just made right before I hopped on when you were talking about agents, like
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, okay, because I started paying for ads now too. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my followers up, like because I'm realizing the problem isn't that my shit isn't good or I'm not making good content. It's just visibility.
It's
You know what I'm
exposure.
saying? It's
Yeah.
exposure. That's all I need because I know more people that see this, the more people they're gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm just grateful that you are even kind of like even considering that because that lets me know I have something. Um,
Yes. Yes.
Now, I can honestly do this shit in a day. Like I know I could do like this whole one pager breaking down the seasons because I have the concept down for everything. Like this ain't, something that's been, you know, half done or anything like that. Like this is something that I know can happen. My only thing is, like you said, it's a volatile time in the media and in the country, period. So
Hmm.
it's like a lot of shit is just uncertain right now.
Yeah.
So like what does that look for you like for you right now as a creative? Do you see things improving? Do you see like as a
The
TV,
industry?
yeah, or somebody that, works in television, like, you know, of course we can make anything happen, if we just work hard enough and stuff like that. And I really do believe that. And I'm really getting that from that conversation. But also too, it's like shit might just hit the fan too. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to
Well,
know other
I
avenues that I could do this because I do see my story personally. I want to save it and try to make it into like an actual screenplay film just because I feel like I'm working on writing a book too, about my experiences too, but I feel like a TV show is like the perfect way for me to get my foot in the door with this type of situation. Like, oh, okay, like what else does this guy got to say? You know?
yep. Um,
Because I know
if
writing has worked for you, like writing books and stuff.
I just want to make sure I understand the question. You're saying what do I think about the future of the industry or
That that
like are we gonna have TV shows in the future? Is that the question kind of? Like is
our
this
TV show is gonna be the same like that we've had with this genesis. You feel like this genesis of shows that are like, dramedies or genesis of shows that have like really been culturally impactful. Is it just gonna go? Do you feel like it's just gonna go back to like 30 minute? Give the people basically meat and potatoes. Don't give them anything fancy. Boom. Like do you think
I
basically?
think that I think I understand the question. Okay, so I think there will be 1 hour dramatic TV shows for as long as there's an appetite for that. And I think there is an appetite for that. You see, it's not a huge audience, but I'm sure you see how many people at least talk about White Lotus, Severance, I don't know, all kinds of shit. Paradise, right? Like all kinds of stuff. Now, if you if you commit yourself to this process, you can get through all of these narrow doorways into the hands of the right people, including the right talent that will want to be a part of a project that will get it made. Like there's still, Apple, Amazon, Hulu, HBO, like they're not making as many shows as they used to, but they are still making shows.
Mm,
But I'll be honest with you, I think that the journey of going through this process and trying to make it happen, whether or not it happens, and I think I would always keep it in your heart that it can happen, but whether or not it happens, just the way that you will be introducing yourself to other people and the world and the people who work in this industry as a writer, as a visionary, as a creative, that in and of itself is going to open up a new world for your voice. That's what happened with I never made the show. Like I never made the show. You know what I mean? The show that I wrote as my first
yeah.
show, it never got made.
Yeah.
Like we spent a lot of time and money and hours on making it, but what it did was it introduced me to a lot of people that I would need to work with going forward as a storyteller. And I think the same thing will happen for you, whether or not this show even gets made. But in your mind and in your heart, continue to believe that it's going to get made so that those things can happen. People will know whether you're coming to them with an idea that you think is stale and dead on the vine, or if you really believe it. And a lot of times, that energy and that conviction is the thing that makes people want to share you with the next person. I personally would never feel afraid to introduce Lawrence to someone else whose connection I value because I know he's going to take it seriously. I know he's going to show up with an open mind and heart. I know he's going to be confident. You know what I mean? Like those are the things you don't want to lose. And so who knows what will become of the industry? Who knows? Maybe you get to the end of this process. You come back and you say, "Yo, Chad, it's a dead end. I can't get it out." At that point, maybe I say, "Yo, Lawrence, let's fucking see if we can crowdfund $10,000 for you to shoot the first, I don't know, the first two scenes of the show, and then let's see what happens from there." Or maybe we try to crowdfund $100,000 to make a lower budget version of the first episode. Like, there's all we don't let the industry tell us what's what. Like, there's always somewhere we can go from here. That's what we do.
Most definitely. Most
Yeah.
that man. Damn, this is what I needed, man.
Hey, there you go, dog.
Like,
Dog, you're doing it, bro. It's you are the one causing it. You're doing it.
I was gonna ask you too. So, is it okay if I put the story out on social media too? Like, this is what my show is about. It's about this. It's about that. Or is it like too early to do that? Like, wait till because I did make a reel the other day, and it was just like I did like a red bean donut challenge where I tried a red bean donut, and then I had my roommate try it, and I was
Right.
putting bubbles about the story in it, and how I'm testing different ways of content. So I was like telling people, oh, it's about a black male trying to make
It's
it in the adult film industry. Like,
it's never too early. What I would say, it's never too early, right? Because every time you get a new follower, that's the first time they've been, I mean, it's probably like not the first time they've been exposed to you, but like that's the first time they're really tracking your story. It's okay to tell the same story many times over. That's fine. There's no harm in that because it's storytelling and it's marketing. Like you got to reach people a lot of times before you get into
yeah,
their I don't know, psychology, like until you get into their thoughts and their visions and their
it's
imagination.
subconscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I would say is every time you offer something about the show, try to offer one new element. so that you
Mhm.
don't get bored telling the story. But
Mm.
also, excuse me, also, like you wanna, you're really gonna want to focus so hard on. Imagine I had a TV show, right? And that I'm pitching, and somebody's like, "What's the show about?" The show might actually be about my relationship with my friends and family in Maryland. But
Mm.
the way into that experience might be me telling the story of how I got a DUI when I was home visiting at 4 in the morning because I should have been home with my family, but instead I was out looking for my self esteem, right? You want to be able to tell it like that. You want to be able to create a window for them to see inside this show that's so
Mm.
clear and visual and zippy and relatable. You need to find, you have it because I heard it in that first few sentences. But just
Mhm.
like we're entering the world of a black male porn star and everything that happens emotionally and intellectually to a person who is cast as a mandingo in this world, right? Boom.
Exactly.
Like,
Mhm.
oh, like anybody who wants to know what's up with that is gonna really want to know what's up with that. That's what you're trying to find.
Exactly. Exactly. And like the dichotomy, like in the first scene, like I have him in the middle of, having sex with one of these porn stars or whatever, and he's doing his thing, and she calls him a nigga while they having sex.
Mm,
And then and it's based on something that really happened. Like
mm.
it was a adult film star who got sued for calling her co-star a nigger on the set, and so I wanted to include that, but since he's new to the industry, he doesn't want to rock the boat, so he just goes with it, and then he calls his friend the dominatrix, hey, such and such, because she's one of the biggest porn stars in the industry. She
Right.
just called me a nigga on the set. And that's the only person he could talk to about it. But, in the scene, the director's like, great job. Da, da, da. There's not enough YNs like you in the industry. I kind of got, because I've been around so many white people, I know how they talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Of
So I
course.
try to put some different elements in there. And, that's what the story is. It's about trying to make it in a white dominated industry while still trying to be yourself. And the porn and all that stuff is like a MacGuffin. The real thing is trying to be yourself in a white heteronormative industry that,
Right.
celebrates you being the other. You're not really
Yes.
the main story. You're being celebrated because you're um the subject.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what
the
I mean? You're
token.
a fetish.
You're a
Yeah.
fetish. I think you just nailed it, right? When you tell
Hmm.
the story of what the show is, give them the visual. As soon as you say black male porn star, that does something to
Hmm.
people. All it does something different to each of us, but
Hmm.
we know the visual and it's there's something about that visual that is it wakes you up. You're like, okay, now,
Hmm.
now, and this can be in two sentences. Now take that and attach it to what you just said, which is like, this story is really about what it feels like to be a token, but you're doing it in the way that I think really, really like knocks that experience out the park. Because I
Hmm.
can talk till I'm blue in the face about like, oh my God, it was so hard being the black guy working at Google. And like that's kind of
Hmm.
interesting, but that's not nearly as interesting as being a black porn star. That's not even in the ballpark. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way, I think that's the way to bring those two things home. Really quick, as a time check, we have
Hmm.
about, let's call it 5 minutes. So I want to
Okay.
make sure that there's no question on your sheet that we don't get to, even if we got to knock, 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 knock.
No, that's fine. I'm just gonna go through this piece, like through everything that I wrote, that you wrote down, and that I wrote down, just to make sure nothing got, you know what I'm saying, no stone was left unturned.
Yep.
Um, you wrote about the comedy market. What do you think about like tagging people? Like, because that's what I've been doing too. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I've been tagging you. I've been tagging.
I
You
see
know what
you.
I'm saying? I've been
Issa, I seen
tagging.
it. This is my thought, okay? And it's a
Yeah.
nuanced thought, right? I think that
Yeah.
it's subject to your own personality. There's a balance of being showing hunger and showing that you
Hmm.
will take the risk of calling people by name
Yeah.
versus um being being thoughtful that there's a person on the other end of that. And, you
Mhm.
know, sometimes it's nothing. Like sometimes it's like I bet those people get tagged probably 100,000 times a day, so they probably don't even notice.
Mhm.
But you know, one day I'll say for myself, like me and those people will be in the same room. Me and those people might be on the same project, and
Mhm.
some of them won't care. Some of them might be like, "Dog, that was super whatever. That was super aggressive or ambitious when you did this. Different people have different ways of looking at that. I would say
Mhm.
for you, just be, you don't want to come across as though you're spamming people. So make sure every action has intention behind it.
Mhm.
But there's nothing wrong. Every person who you're tagging at one point in their journey had to be ambitious and hungry, and they still are in their own ways. So I know that was kind of like a in between answer, but that's because I think
Yeah.
it's just be thoughtful because they're
Just be
people.
mindful about it.
Yeah,
Just
they're
be mindful.
people. They're people. Yep. That's
Definitely,
it.
most
Yeah.
definitely. And I, you know what I'm saying? That's the last thing I want to come across as, you know what I'm saying? But, I think I'm just excited because I know, man, like I've never had this type of just clarity on something, like something that I'm so sure about that I've created. I feel like everything that I've been through has kind of got me to this point to create something like this. Like even my roommate, the white dude, after he read it, man, he was like, "How long did it take you for you to make that?" I thought he was about to clown me,
Mm,
but he was just like, "How long is it? 46?" He was just like, "Yeah, man, if it comes to you that easy," he was like, "That's something that you should be doing." And
yes.
I'm just like, yo, everything is just showing me that I got to keep going with this. So I'm
Beautiful.
just grateful, man. But now I kind of have like a better idea. So I don't have to worry about agents and all this other stuff till, like you said, I got 5,000 followers, maybe, right?
I'm using the 5,000 followers as a benchmark to show to someone like the guy who asked me that question, who was like, he was like, I'm trying to get an agent. How do I get an agent? And he's got like 320 followers. And I'm like, you're not even giving yourself a chance because that person is just going to come to this app to see if you have a following and if you don't have a couple
Mm,
thousand followers. So I'm using 5,000 as a benchmark. I think for you right now, I think what is most important is that you get this package of your show, like you get these files in such a tight order and in such a
mm,
place in your storytelling that you can tell anybody quickly and easily and true to you like what this show is and why it's going to be a hit and this, that, and the third. You need to get that in order, and then you're going to start being really noisy about what you're trying to do here and see what roads can lead to those people. If you get an agent in front of you and it's time to tell that story, then do it. Like if you can get an audience with an agent, do it now. There's no harm in that. Like you're active on the apps. It's not like you're gonna have more followers in a month than you have today. Like you're doing the work. You don't have to wait, but
most definitely.
make sure it's coming from the inside out, not from the outside in. That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. I don't need that outside validation. Everything that I need, I'm already doing, and I just got to keep creating behind it.
Be creative and be noisy. Yes.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So, do you recommend me getting on LinkedIn and posting the same type of content?
Not the same type of content.
Hmm.
I think LinkedIn is responsive to. I really haven't cracked LinkedIn. I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think most of what's happening with creative industries happens on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even Twitter to an extent, even though I don't really like Twitter. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to use LinkedIn, you might just use it as a way to find contacts who could be the right person to open a
Mm.
door for you. And people are always like, "Oh, the industry's small, like word gets around, blah blah blah." I wouldn't even listen to that. Like the
Mm.
industry is big and Hollywood is small, and people be trying to act
Mm.
like the whole industry is like this one little zip code, and that's just not true.
Now, that actually ties in what I was going to ask next. Do you think I should, it's good that I stay in this area for right now, instead of trying to go to, back to New York or back to, anything like that, so I could be like have more visibility, or it's like it doesn't matter at this point since I'm building my social media following, or is that something I should consider? Also, too, you know, what does this whole projection look like? Because I remember you saying the first meeting we had, it can look however long I want it to look. It could, be however quick I want it to happen, this whole thing. Those are two questions that I have.
What's the whole thing you're referring to? Sorry.
Getting this show on the ground. Like,
Oh,
because I know for you was like a year, with some change. This whole process was, like when is a good time to get to that point where I'm like, all right, we're gonna crowdfund this motherfucker. Like,
mm. Okay. First question. Somebody said this to me years ago. She was an executive at Apple at that time. And
Mhm.
I was at a wedding and I asked her the same question. I was like, you know, I've been thinking about moving to LA, but I just don't feel very inspired when I'm in LA. And she was like, producers, executives should live in Hollywood. Writers, creators should live where they feel inspired. And from what I can tell, watching your journey right now, you seem very inspired. You seem very productive. At this particular moment, I would give I would give yourself a little time to see if this productivity and this level of inspiration keeps up where you're at before I would start messing with the ingredient of geography. You already know this because you've lived in New York. A lot of people move to New York, a lot of people move to Hollywood, and they get so lost in the rat race of trying to pay the bills and be in the right social networks that they end up nowhere. So I would not advise that at this particular moment for you. Second question: how long does this take to get a show on the air? Well, for one, you're asking somebody who has no shows on the air. And the answer, my non cheeky answer is from the time I wrote that TV pilot until the time I sold it was a little over a year, I believe, maybe right around a year, which included for me getting signed to an agency, getting Spike as my executive producer, getting into all the rooms to pitch it the first go round, shooting a scene of it, taking that back out, and making the deal happen with BET. So, why I'm saying that, and that was light speed. That was with people being like, you are the man who dodged raindrops on this. Like, don't expect it to be like this. What I'm saying is, people should not expect this to go fast. People should not expect this to be a way to make a living because it's not. It is a way to get to a particular windfall, which isn't even a huge windfall your first time around. You might
Mhm.
make you might make a couple $100,000 on this sale if you're lucky. But you also might make more than that if the show goes and gets picked up and does 3 seasons. Like now you have a real salary and a real living and a real, a real career. What I would tell you right now is focus on getting these elements in order because this is your process. And once you have this process in tow and you start to build the pieces of network that it takes to move these things forward, you can do it over and over and over and over again. And that's how you make a living as a writer.
Mm.
Yeah.
So for now, like this is my last question. When it comes to intellectual property, if somebody's interested, I can send them the script, but that don't mean like, oh, they got it now. They like can
Yep.
create it without me or something like that. Like since I made it the original, like how does that work?
Here's what I would say.
Because I have a few friends that's like, yo, send it to me. I want to read it. Da, 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 da.
I would say this first and foremost, with the disclaimer that I am not a lawyer and have never been. This is the process that I go through to protect my work. Number one, lawyers have advised me that paper trail is very strong in terms of protection for your IP. So just the fact that you emailed someone and said, "Here's my script, don't send it to anybody," like, if you ever got to take it up in a legal matter, that in and of itself can be a form of protection. Another thing I would
Yeah.
say is I used to do this all the time. I actually don't know if it helped in any way, but I would always register my scripts with the Writers Guild online. It costs like $20. And then you can just put like the Writers Guild registration number at the bottom of the script, which for most people who are not in this profession, in this industry, they'll see that and they'll be like, oh, this is registered. I better be careful with it. I don't know if it actually makes any difference, but that's something you could do. Other than that, I mean, this is what I tell people often is like if the risk is that somebody's going to run off with your idea and the potential reward is that somebody's going to see your idea and help you get it made, at this point in the journey, I feel like that risk greatly outweighs that reward, I'm sorry, greatly outweighs the risk. I guess you can never be totally certain that your creative property is protected, but I have never had an actual issue of somebody running off with my stuff. And I've sent my stuff so many places to so many people, and a lot of people do. There were are times where you'll have people sending around PDFs of your script on a phone. Like if you sent me your script, I would ask you to send it to me as a PDF on my phone because most people who work in this industry don't want to be sitting at a desk in front of a computer. That's not why we do this for a living, to be sitting at a desk in front of a computer. So, um, that's the best answer I can give you. I wouldn't be that scared of it because most people who would run off and with your project and scam you don't actually have the vehicles to get anything made. So that's my thought.
You're right about that. My last question: can
Yes, sir.
I like get I don't know, just like a sound bite from you or something cool, like for my social media?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course. How do you want to do it?
I don't know. What you thinking like would be like
So
this?
I mean, a
I,
part of me wants to take this video and put the whole thing on YouTube if you're open to it. A part of me is like chop it up, just put the good elements of it. Whatever you're comfortable with, I can send you a clip of it. I've also thought about maybe taking a clip just of like a minute of it and putting it on Instagram. I could collab post you on that like I did last time. Whatever you
let's
want to
do
do,
it.
bro.
Let's do all that shit. Let's do all
Okay.
that shit.
Okay, cool. You're cool. You're cool with me putting this whole thing on YouTube?
I'm cool because you know what? It's exposure at
It
the end of
is.
the day. It's
It
exposure
is.
and it's worth it. That's like because now I feel good because it's like I'm getting exposure, you shouting me out, and on top of that, I'm giving game, and I'm a part of the process of other people picking this up. This is something that is bigger than me,
That's right.
and people want to know about my idea. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? So it's like, yeah, put it out. I
And
don't care.
anybody at this point, anybody who watches me is likely to see you, which I think you're already
Most
saying. So, all right, cool, bro. If you
appreciate
see
you, man.
anything in that clip though that you want to just clip and put on your Instagram, by all like just go for it.
Most definitely, though, man. I appreciate you,
I
Shad.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate it, dog.
Most definitely.
Keep the energy. If the energy starts to fall off, talk to me so we can get it back where
Okay.
it's at. Okay.
Okay, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.